Hello, 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 hello. How are everyone? How are you? Hi, Van. I think Riverman was here last month and then disappeared. Hello, Van. Hello, Sally. Good to see you. How are you doing? What's going on? Do you have anything to drink? I have my cup of tea. And it's kind of an old mug. I bought it in York, but it's like a Winnie the Pooh mug that I bought in York in 1995, if I remember correctly. So it's been around for a while. I was there as part of my studies. I am good. My arm that I got my shot in, I had a shot. Finn knows this already. I got a shot on Wednesday, and it's still kind of sore, but much better. Tea builders. All right, yeah. I actually didn't know what that was until this year, I think, maybe last year. Builder's tea was something I've never heard of before. My partner, who's Irish, told me about it. So my tea is just like a black tea with oat milk in it. And Van is having the first coffee of the day. That's very late, Van. What happened? How come you didn't have any coffee before now? I thought you would have caffeinated earlier than now. You've already come back from work and everything. So, as you can see from last time I did a reading sprint, I now have like a bookshelf background because I thought it would be like cozy. I wish I had another chair, but I currently don't. Maybe one day I will have another chair to sit down in and be more like a reading chair. This chair is okay, but it's an office chair and I'm sitting at my desk anyway. So maybe one day I'll be able to do like some stuff with another chair, but not today. Currently I don't have another chair anyway. Oh, then it's trying to cut down on coffee or like caffeine in general. Sally is going to make lapsang chowing soon. I think that's the very smoky tea, isn't it? I must admit that I'm not too crazy about smoky flavors, which is very odd being Norwegian. I do like a carrot thing. It's called like carrot salmon or smoked salmon salmon, and I kind of like that, but I used to eat like smoked salmon a long time ago. Before I cut out fish, I could cut out fish 12 years ago now, I think. I was pescatarian for a very long time. And I haven't had that for a very... But I actually like this smoked carrot thing better than the smoked salmon. So you're cutting down on caffeine in general. Stuck to 3 a day. Oh wait, does that mean just coffee? Or do you drink tea at all? I'm not sure. I know you're like a coffee person. I've had coffee today. But it's getting later in the day, and then I prefer tea. I think maybe after the first sprint, I might actually have matcha latte, but I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. So yeah, sometimes have a slice of lemon in it. Yeah, that doesn't really work with tea, milk with tea in it, tea with milk in it, because it makes the milk all crumbly. Don't know what that is in English. Anyway, so yeah, but yeah, smoky tea, it's not my cup of tea. So 3 caffeinated drinks. Trying to be good and stick to water. That's very good. I actually drink mostly water when I'm at work. I drink some coffee, but not a lot. And I'm actually fortunate enough to have we have a coffee grinder at work. So that means that I make my own coffee at work. I use like my own beans and make my own coffee. I have an AeroPress. An AeroPress makes 1 cup of coffee, unless you have the extra large. Then it makes like approximately 2 cups of coffee. A little bit more. 2.5 cups, depending on the coffee cup size, of course. Unless like you have like a huge mug or something, then maybe 1. I do have a huge mug that I bought in London at some point. But I don't really drink from it. I only have pencils and like stuff like that in it. So Sally has only milk in builder's tea. The word you're looking for is curdled. Okay, curdled, thank you. Yeah, I use oat milk in black tea. I don't use anything and I don't use sugar in tea at all, or coffee for that matters. I normally don't drink coffee with milk unless it's like a latte, and that is only when I go out. At home I never do that, or at work. I only drink coffee, black coffee. And if I go somewhere where I know the coffee is good, I can drink black coffee as well. Like when I was in Glasgow, I had I found I used Happy Cow and kind of stumbled upon a place that said they had vegan donuts, and they turned out to be a really, really good coffee place. Because I always ask when I come in, so what kind of beans do you use? Because for me that is important, whether to order like a black coffee or a milk-based coffee. So if they have a rather dark roast, I only do the milk like a latte, because otherwise it's too bitter for me. I really don't like bitterness in coffee. And getting good coffee in the UK is really hard. I have found good coffee shop in Manchester. I've found it in London. I know some Londons, and also good coffee places in Glasgow now. I have this one place, and the donuts were so good, so gorgeous. The first day I had one with white chocolate and dried raspberries on it. Yum! So that was super nice. Hello, Riverman. How are you? About to go to the store. Well, maybe we're still around when you come back. Good luck with all the things. And we talked about all the things already. So, yes, but this is going to be a stream. So we're going to sprint at some point. But, yeah. Van says, it's used to rubbish coffee. No offense of the taste drives me through the day. Oh, no offense of the taste drives me through the day. Yeah. No, if only I woke up from coffee, but I don't. So yeah. But anyway, we are going to mention that we're going to sprint at some point, and I am planning on reading. I am currently reading, or rereading rather, this book here. Yeah, yeah. This is Persuasion by Jane Austen. And this is very much a reread for me. I've read it a couple of times. I think I've only read it twice before. Some of Jane Austen's other books I've read more. So this is a book copy that I got from Chapters in Dublin, second hand. If you don't know, I collect Jane Austen books. And this I got at Chapters for €2.99. I think it's approximately the same in pounds, but I'm not sure what the rate is at the moment. So what are you guys, are you reading anything? What are you planning on reading? So Sally says, I'm really lucky as there is an excellent tea and coffee shop in Rayleigh. All right, that's good. I find that in the UK it's more often, as well as in Ireland, it's more often easy to get a decent tea shop. Coffee, not so much. It has to be like a specialty coffee shop with a light roast, because I don't like the bitterness in the dark roast. So that's a good thing. Ben says, I'm going to finish the indie I started sprint on Wednesday, When Shadowfall by Lindy Ans. Oh yes, how is it? That was a very pretty book, if I remember correctly. Though I don't remember. Anyway, yes. So, how far are you in? Ben, do you have a lot left? But I think you talked about this earlier today on the Discord, and that you were trying to finish this book today. I don't know if I doubt that I will finish Persuasion today. I don't think so, but I am over halfway, so who knows? Who knows? I must admit that August has been a very slow reading month for me. I haven't read much. So was July. I mean, the last month has been very slow, actually, in general. And July I was so tired, and I think the reason for that was that at work, so we had less opening hours, but we were also very few people at work, and during week 29 was the week where we were hardly anyone at work. I think we were like 4 people from my section. And we do the adult library part, and there's like a library, children's library upstairs as well. And I think they were probably 2 at work, but they're also very busy. So July was super mega busy. We were super so few at work, so we were on desk a lot. So there were rarely time to kind of sit and relax, and I have to do other things as well, and prepare salary negotiations and stuff like that, because I'm the union representative at work as well. Not something I planned on, but then the person who was the union representative just said, I'm not able to do it anymore, so one of you have to do it. And the other person with the experience, she is the leader of the district border thing. So it ended up being me. So yeah, July was very busy at work, and then I normally had the last shift as well as the second, so 10 to 12 and then 2 to 4. And I was very tired when I got home from work. I didn't have much energy left, so I didn't really read that much. Soven says, it's decent. So that's the book Ven is reading. You can tell it's a book one of a series, a lot of setup, but it's solid. Oh, that's a good thing though. Sometimes you just need that setup thing for a first book in a series. And Ven says, 60 pages left. Okay, so that means you should probably be able to finish it today. Oh, you got mail. Oh, no mail, just a big child banging about. Oh, that is a disappointment. I would have been disappointed if I thought someone was coming with mail. But I get mail in the mailbox, so nothing exciting there. On our reading slowdown this month, says Ven. Yeah. And working so many hours, can't wait next week and get out of the way and then on leave. Yeah. See, I'm on leave now. For last week, when I went to Worldcon or Norcon and then headed to Glasgow for Worldcon, and then we came back on quite late on Tuesday, and yeah, on Wednesday I went to get my vaccine, and then I met up with my friend to have coffee. And yesterday I did a lot of streaming, but that was gaming. So I played Baldur's Gate 3 first, and then I played Civilization. Okay, so Ven is expecting a book today. So which book are you expecting? Is it anything exciting? Is it one of the special editions? Just had 2 weeks authorized in September as well. I can't avoid Twilight now. What do you mean you can't avoid Twilight? You have to read Twilight, but why? I must admit, I've read it. I've read all the 4 books in the original series or quartet. And I read them pretty fast. But yeah. If it was today, I would have read them. Probably, maybe. Probably, maybe. I don't know. Reading it next month. Yeah, but you don't have to, Ven. See? You don't have to. If you don't want to read it, you don't have to. But I'm still wondering which book you are expecting today. Because that's kind of interesting. So Noah is reading Twilight and reading one from Edward's point of view. Oh, is that the... Behind the Sun or whatever it's called? I can't be asked to read it. I don't see the point. It's more to make Noah suffer. Oh, the lengths you go to make Noah suffer. Okay. So I don't know if Sally is still around. Sally on a Discord we're on was talking about a Melody, which is her kitten, her adoptive kitten. It looks so really cute. So I was wondering if Melody was around as well. It's 600 pages then. So you're reading 600 pages of agony to make Noah suffer. But you're making yourself suffer, so I don't really see the point. Really. Expecting the God and the Gumyo. It's a cover by, oh yeah. We've all done that, and I did some at Worldcon. I think it's a YA fantasy horror thing. Oh, that sounds interesting. I actually went to Illuminate, is that what they're called? They actually had a stand at Worldcon, and I was drooling over some of the books there. And I saw one book, and I was thinking of you, Ven, and I was thinking, that is a Ven book. That is a Ven cover. Um, yeah, skim reading the Twilight book is probably a good plan if you're going to read it at all. I still wouldn't have done it, even to agonize Noah. Yeah. So no, sorry. um, yeah. I am quite warm actually today. It's a warm sunny day, so it's kind of the wrong day to have a stream, but being the un-Norwegian person I am, I'm inside. Most Norwegians just like drop everything they have and like run outside when it's sun. Then says, I have good books for the next month or so, so it should balance out. That's good. Sally says, I've been attempting to give her eye drops. Oh, that's probably a very tricky situation, knowing cats, and especially a little tiny cat like Melody. Do you know how old Melody is, Sally? So it was easy when she was scared of me. Now she refuses to be still. Oh. That's kind of, you would think it would be like the other way around, wouldn't you? That the cat would like sit still when she feels safe, but when she's afraid of you, she'll like try to run away. Did you manage to get her the eye drops though? Yeah, poor little thing. So I think, if I remember, Sally, if you care to share the story of Melody, feel free to do that. This is a cat-friendly zone. I think Ven also has a cat, if I remember correctly. One cat, two cats. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ven. Do you have... Yeah, I know you have at least one cat. They don't really appear on video, but... So, Melody is between 2 and 5 years. And she was wriggling too much. Oh, right. Oh, well. Kitty. You have one then. Yeah. Kitty. I hope I one day can have a cat, maybe. It's not going to happen anytime soon, for various reasons. Also, I'm allergic, so that might be a thing or reason for not having a cat, but I like cats. Cats are awesome. So your cat is called Bruce. That's... yeah, it's a fitting name for your cat, I think. Bruce. And then Noah has a cat and a dog? Or is it 2 cats and a dog? But Noah isn't here. I don't know what Noah is up to today. Maybe he's working or hurting himself again. A bit distracted child is bothering you. Oh yeah, but it's not your child, is it? Because you're going to get your children, aren't you? Today, later on. Or is it like one of the kids, neighborhood kids? So Noah has lots of cats or animals, and they're all living in this small flat. Okay, it's the big one. That's 20. So the big kid, you have a kid that's 20 years old then? Can't be right. It can't be right. You're too young to have a 20-year-old. because I know how old you are. I find it very, yeah, I know it's madness, isn't it? But then again, I have a childhood friend, 2015 and 10. That's a pretty big gap almost. But yeah, I have a childhood friend, and she's like 1 day older than I am. So her birthday is the day before mine, and we grew up in the same place and stuff like that. Went to school together, and her kids are in their 20s, and she didn't really have her kids particularly late or anything. It's like normal age, in her late 20s. So to me, who is child free, it's so strange that people have like, especially when it's like if you are like younger than I am, which Van is, that to have like kids in their 20s, it's like 20-year-old kid. Really? Why? How? Because I'm just 20. I'm not, but you know. Anyhow, so folks, should we do a bit of a sprint maybe? I am thinking that the sprints should be 45 minutes maybe. So I am currently on I'm starting page 130. I'm going to set the timer to 45 minutes, and then we'll read for 45 minutes, and then I'll go back to chatting. Van says, we are literally taking stuff on that are the same age as him. It depresses me. Yes, Van. In my previous job, one of my colleagues had parents, and his mom was born the same year as I am, and his dad is the same year as my partner. Like same age as my partner, and like born the same year as my partner. And I was like, oh, I feel old now. It's like I have a colleague, I could have been his mum. I just like, but I don't feel like a mum. I have zero motherly feelings. I don't know if I could have been a mum, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's not in me to be a mother. And I think that is fine. So, okay, should we do our 45-minute sprint? Are you ready for that? So, right. I am going to set the timer to 45 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll have another chat. Hello, hello, hello. I almost forgot to turn on the audio again. That's happened before. I was like talked away and then forgot to turn on the mic. Fortunately, I discovered that in time. Sally says, typed out the story of Melody, but it's too long according to YouTube. DM'd it to you. I'll read it when I'm back on Discord, Sally. Looking forward to reading the story about Melody. Melody, the kitten, the adoptive kitten. It's always like really heartwarming to read kitten stories, like especially the adopted kitten stories. I made myself a matcha latte, iced matcha latte with oat milk. So that's my drink for now. Ven says, going to pop to get the kids. Have a great sprint, hopefully. If you sieve later, I will catch you. Yes, Ven. Thank you for stopping by. You've gone by now, obviously. But thank you for stopping by. Always a pleasure to have you here. This book belongs to Pam. Hi, welcome. How are you? Are you still around? I think you might have... You might have left already, I don't know. If not, welcome. Found this sprints via sprint spreadsheets. Oh, really? I didn't know there was like a sprint spreadsheet. That is not something I know about. But I did plan this sprint for a good while ago, actually, because I planned it before I went away on holidays, so like the week before I went on holidays. So I'm still on my holidays. I'm going to read a Filipino romance book for a video I'm filming. Okay, I don't think I've read anything. I don't read a lot of romance. I do like occasionally read romance, but not a lot. And definitely not read anything from the Philippines. Are you reading it in English or some other language? So I am currently reading Persuasion by Jane Austen, and I managed to read about not even 25 pages in 45 minutes. That's not bad for me. I'm not a fast reader, especially not in English. Not sure if you know here, but Read with Dr. B has a spreadsheet that has links to upcoming reading sprints. Super useful. Oh, I did not know that. I also do not know who Read with Dr. B is. They are not familiar to me. I mean, since I started doing YouTube, it has grown so much. I have been doing YouTube for over a decade. Actually, I started with a horror film channel a long time ago. This was before YouTube was bought up by Google. So I no longer have access to that channel or that profile. So I know the films are still there, but I don't have access to them. Which is a bit it's a pity, because it would have been nice to have access to them. Fortunately, I made them all private before I made this account. And then I've been doing BookTube. Before it was called BookTube. It wasn't called BookTube when I started doing books. And a lot of the people that were active then, they're not active anymore, and some people are doing other stuff than books. They used to do books previously, but they don't anymore. You're reading it in English, okay. I've been wanting to read more classics. I read a Clarice Lispector book recently, and that was so good. So now I'm thinking of reading another classics. Oh, Clarice Lispector. Okay, so here's the thing. I've studied English at university, but that name is not familiar to me. Clarice Lispector. Let me Google that. See if I can find out who that is. Clarice Lispector. Oh, Brazilian novelist. That's probably why I don't know this author. Can't speak. Clarice Lispector was a Ukrainian-born Brazilian novelist and short story writer. All right. So, what by them did you read? Always. Oh yeah, it's from Brazil. Technically, books, modern classics. Yeah, I haven't read that much modern classics. Also, yeah, not read that many books by Brazilian authors. Is Jane Austen a good place to start for classics? Yeah, I would say so, but maybe not Persuasion. As I said earlier, this is my third time reading this, and I've forgotten so much. But I always had a love for English classics. I read Shakespeare. I can't speak today. I read Shakespeare when I was in my teens, actually, my late teens. I stumbled over Romeo and Juliet in the school library. When I was 17, I think, about 17, that was in Norwegian translation. So I read it in the Norwegian, and I just fell in love with it so much. So I actually picked up Shakespeare and read it in English after that. So since I was maybe 18, I read Shakespeare in English, which I don't think is like a very common thing to do. And when I was like about the same age, I lived in a place called Hamar, and I went to Oslo, which is the capital. So I went there by train to see Hamlet on the stage. It's very geeky, but I am very geeky, so that's okay. So I think if you're going to start, my favorite Jane Austen is Northanger Abbey, which is a really easy read, but it's really like sarcastic and whimsical and funny, very, very humorous. And I think that might be a fairly good book to start with, or maybe one of the more well-known one like Sense and Sensibility or Pride and Prejudice, or even Emma. Emma is really easy and really easy read. Read a couple of lines of Romeo and Juliet. It was quoted in the book I read, and it was actually so beautifully written. Yes, that's the thing with Shakespeare. I think it's such beautiful language. I bought a bind-up of all his tragedies afterwards, but haven't read it yet. Yeah, well, Hamlet is a good place to start. Romeo and Juliet also very good play to read. Yeah, so Northanger and Abbey, good places to start with Jane Austen, I think. But I personally started with Pride and Prejudice, and I think there's a lot of people who start with that and fall in love with it. So I don't think it matters that much. I forgot to put my glasses on. Yeah. Not a very good. That's better. Squinting at the screen. I have separate reading glasses, and these are my computer glasses, and my computer glasses actually have these the blue filter thing in them, so that it's easier, or they kind of, I think they make it easier on the eye, at least for me. I have migraine disease, if you don't know, and it's not a secret. Mm. But I feel it like helps not getting attacks if I wear these like computer glasses, if I'm sitting in front of the screen a lot. So yes. So what the book called that you're currently reading? I guess your name is Pam, probably. Uh, Feel free to tell me about yourself if you want to. You don't have to. I don't know about this spreadsheet, so I don't know what it says or anything about me, but I am Norwegian. I live in Norway with my Irish partner. I read very eclectic, I hope to be call it. I read a lot of different stuff, all kinds of genres, and I read mainly in English and Norwegian and Swedish. I have went to, this book belongs to Pam. I have went to, I think it helps my eyes with tiredness. Yes, I think there's something about the blue light that comes from the screens that like kind of affects the eyes. Sally says, we didn't study any Shakespeare at school until we were 15. Well, I didn't study English at school. I just picked Shakespeare up for fun. So there's that. I think I had really good Norwegian teachers because we were never really forced to read like, well, depends on, when you were like younger, early teens and stuff, we didn't read like the heavy classics. And I'm very grateful for that because I think it would have like destroyed my pleasure for reading them later on. So before I graduated, like, what do you call it? Not high school, but videregående. I don't really know what to call it because it's so different from American school system. But then we read Fuglene, or The Birds, by Tarjei Vesaas in school. And for me, that was like a great reading experience. But I think I was like one of the few in my class who actually loved the book. And it's also in New Norwegian and not bokmål which is like my main Norwegian language is bokmål. And most Norwegians has that rather than New Norwegian. So this book was in New Norwegian, and to me, it's a beautiful language. I love reading books in that language, and but it's probably heavier for a lot because there are words that are very different from Eastern Norwegian language dialects. But if you live in like Western Norway, the New Norwegian is very, very close to their dialects. So Pam says, yes, I'm so sorry, I didn't think I got your name. My name is, my name is Elin, but I usually just go by Luna or online or Lunacha, depending on, because it's easier. And yeah, I've been Lunacha online for many, many years, like since the 90s. So 1990s, because I'm old. So there's that. So I'm reading it in your non-native language. Yeah, but I actually read Shakespeare first in a Norwegian translation. So that was my opening to Shakespeare, and then I just fell in love with it. And so, yeah. So that was that. And then I always loved reading books in English because I had a really, really good English teacher in school. And he was like, my advice, if you want to practice English, is to use it. And you can do that by reading books in English. I was like a big reader even then. So I've been a reader my whole life, and then I was like, of course, I pick up books in English. So as a teen, I read, if you're familiar with S.E. Hinton, who wrote a book called The Outsiders. It was kind of a big hit in the, I don't know about outside of Norway, but in Norway it was like, so we had these magazines, like for young, basically young girls, like teens, tweens, teens. And they had these serials. So The Outsiders was like a serial in this magazine. And my friend and I, we used to read this story because I fell in love with it. And read it like in a Norwegian translation. And then I actually found the book as a paperback on sale. In English. So I bought it and read it. And of course, I didn't understand everything at the time, but I read it over and over again. And the more I read the book, the more I understood and the more I learned. So I think that's like, yeah, that was a good advice from my teacher to read English and kind of just learn from that. Of course, using a language is the best way to learn it. Yeah, very good advice to read read books in the language you're learning. I bought Le Petit Prince in French because I'm trying to learn French, but my French is not near good enough to read anything, not even Le Petit Prince or The Little Prince. So Pam says, I'm learning Japanese and I'm thinking, go get Japanese translation of a book I've already read in English. Yeah, that's a good plan. It's a very good plan, actually. So is it easy to get books in Japanese? For us, it's super easy to get books in English now, at least. I don't think it was as easy back then. In the 80s, as things are. So young adult or maybe even middle grade perhaps, so the vocabulary is simpler. Yeah, I think if, depending on your language level, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with picture books. So I've actually been thinking of see if I can do an interlibrary loan for a picture book of sorts, a very like super early baby language picture book, and see if I can read that in French at some point. But I still think I need to learn more French before I can even get that level of language. It's so hard. I'm using Duolingo, and it's not super bad for vocabulary, but I don't trust Duolingo to teach me correct language. And I have a very good reason for this. For fun, did Norwegian, which is my native language, in Duolingo, and it's like translate this into Norwegian, and of course my native language, so I put in whatever is correct, and then it says, no, this is incorrect, and I try something else and say, no, this is incorrect, and then it gives me the correct answer, and it turns out that the correct answer was wrong. So I was like, no. I was like, you're learning, you're supposed to teach a language. You can't teach them the incorrect way of saying things. And who's making this? Is it like people who think they know Norwegian and they don't? So I'm just hoping that the big languages is kind of better, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. if I had the time and energy, I would probably have gone to like a language school or something to learn French. But then I have to like do research on how to do that here, because I live in a small town, an hour away from Oslo. And the trains run fairly often, but not that often. So Pam says, oh yes, picture books is so good because you get context, exactly, with pictures and everything. Pam says, yeah, that's the problem with language apps that offer all the languages. You can't be super sure they're actually consulted experts in those languages. Exactly. I don't think they have when it comes to Norwegian. I don't think they've even talked to native speakers at all. Probably just the commonly studied ones are 100% correct, like English, French, Spanish, etc. Yeah, but I don't think it might even be that. And also, when it comes to English in Duolingo, it's American English, and that also irks me, because I done British all the time when I've gone to university, and I like up until internet sort of British English was probably 95% of the influence of English that I had personally, because that's like the way I looked. I went to Britain, I studied in Britain, I did the British English modules in university and things like that. So, yeah. Sally says, I had a reservation about Duolingo. I started their German course and I was unsure that their answers were correct. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know German. I didn't have German in school. And that's another thing. I actually had French in school as my third language. But that's a whole story. I don't know if you heard it already, but Sally, but... So I studied French in school, and I had a really, really good teacher. And then she went on maternity leave, and I think that was... So when I was in school, things have changed. Just going to say that things have changed. It's a little bit, the school system is different now from when I was in school. So from when I was in grade, so you have first 6 years, or you used to have first 6 years, and then there was like 7, 8, 9. Now it's like those are like 10 years. The first I started school when I was about 7 years old. So year 8 and 9 I did French. So after half a year, the teacher went on maternity leave, and we only had like substitute teachers, and most of them weren't like really French teachers. I think one of them actually spoke French, and there were no consistency, and it felt like they were just doing it to kind of keep up with what we were doing. And of course, when since this was like a chosen subject sort of thing, the grades didn't really count towards when we applied for videregående, which is was year like 10, 11, and 12. So when I started like videregående, my French was so bad. There was like a girl in my French class, and she had been in France for the summer and gone to like language school. So of course her French was excellent, and the French teacher loved her. She became, of course, the huge favorite, and this teacher was definitely doing like favoritism. And he wasn't a very nice person in general, and so my French really suffered from that, and I started out really well for like the first half year, but I never got any further because there were like no consistency, and then I had this horrible teacher, The next 2 years, I had like 4 years of school, French in school, and only the first half year was a good portion of that, or like a well-taught portion of that. And another story about this French teacher, teacher of French. So I grew up in a really small place, and then the teacher had seen my mom. My mom told me this. Seen my mom, and like kind of like just like strolled over the street and gone up to her and said, "So what is Elin doing now?" And my mom said, "Oh, she's in university and she studies English." And then he had said, "What? Elin is studying English, but she doesn't even know French." And I was like, "Yeah, well, maybe first, two very different languages. Second, so what does that tell you about yourself? If someone is studying a language at university level and then you thought that that person doesn't really know the language you taught. Maybe, I don't know." Pam says, "My brain is confused with all the English. I studied with American English, consume a lot of British English, and now work in an Australian company." So I hear another Aussie English all the time. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Because no, I hear like American English a lot on TV and stuff like that. And my partner, who is Irish, you would think that they would speak English with an Irish accent, but they don't. They have they kind of have Irish, but it's very influenced by American English because they've worked for like big American companies. So no, their English is like very heavily influenced by that and have been like almost American English. So people don't pick up that my partner is Irish. Funny story. So I was recently in Glasgow for Worldcon. And the taxi driver, very much Glaswegian accent, and to top that up, which if I get everything, if I can hear everything, I can understand it. But I struggled with just like hearing what they were saying, and the taxi driver was like asking us like, "So, oh, you're from Norway. So how come your English?" Asked my partner. "So how come your English? No, not Norwegian. Your English is so good." And I found that's super funny because my partner was like, "Well, my English is so good because I'm Irish." So I just thought it was so funny. The taxi driver was taking us from the hotel to the airport after we were leaving when we were going back to Norway on Tuesday. Yeah, so funny how languages work. Yeah, very true. I find languages very, very fascinating. I love languages. I love learning about them, like all the syntax and stuff. Oh, and since I'm like a bit of a geek, sort of, I just love the fact that I know a woman who's studied Norwegian Sign Language, like a professor. She was a professor in Norwegian sign language, which is funny. funny because she's German and her native language is German, and she studied Norwegian Sign Language and did like a lot of research on the syntax and stuff. And she told us that Norwegian Sign Language has a syntax that is actually very close to Chinese, Mandarin Chinese. I found that really interesting, but also, of course, sign language, in addition to have a similar Norwegian Sign Language, in addition to having syntax close to Mandarin Chinese. Oh, excuse me. A hiccup. Mandarin Chinese is also like three-dimensional. So you use like just like your hands and your eyes and face expressions and all that kind of thing. I actually did. I actually went to a language course for Norwegian Sign Languages several years ago. Because I worked as a school librarian in a school with a lot of people that used sign language as their first or only language. So my job at the time paid me to go to that course. Of course, then I moved away and I didn't talk to anyone using Norwegian Sign Language and forgot everybody. No, not everybody, everything. It's very hard to speak today. So yes, but yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, it's sad that I don't speak, and I remember like certain words. I have a really good friend though, and a friend of mine who's done 1 year in university, but they're also a big geek. So, and their partner is actually also working with Norwegian Sign Language as an interpreter. And that's very hard as well. So I actually have a video on my channel, my latest vlog, which of course was edited this week, posted this week. And from June, because it was from Pride, and it shows clips from Pride, and went on the stage, and you could see clips of an interpreter, sign language interpreter, on stage, and it's super fascinating, and it was actually really beautiful to watch as well. It was almost like a dance. Absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. So, how long have we been doing? I think we've been doing chatting for quite a bit already. I think we should go into another sprint, another 45 minutes. I have a couple of things that I need to look into. I think 45 minutes should be enough, hopefully. I'll do some reading, but I also need to do some other stuff. I'm continuing reading Persuasion by Austen, and I will see you on the other end of the sprint, and catch you then, and we'll have another chat. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, how did everyone's reading go? I managed to read about 2.5 chapters or so, I think. It's going steadily. I also managed to hang up my laundry, which was my plan. So that's a win. That's a win. So, I think the plan now is to do a little bit of a chat, and then I think that I'll have a shorter sprint later on. I'll do 30 minutes next time, and then we'll just have the last chat after that. So if there's anyone still around. It's very quiet in the chat. Please say something. I don't know if there's anyone there. I think there's someone there, but I don't really know. And I don't really know what to talk about if there's no one to converse with, you know? So, yes, I am still reading Persuasion by Jane Austen. So apparently this was Jane Austen's last finished novel, or her last novel. She started reading Sanditon, but she never finished it, and I've read, because it has been published, and I've read Sanditon. I'm actually really want to reread it, and I enjoyed it, and I think it would have been a great novel if it actually had been finished, but it was never finished. And the BBC made a adaptation of Sanditon, and I saw the first season of that, and I know there's 2 more seasons, but I'm not able to watch them. They were season 2 was available on the Norwegian streaming service, like the NRK, Norwegian national TV service, for free for a while, and then they took it away due to rights, unfortunately, and I missed it somehow, so I never managed to get around to see season 2. And I wish I could. I wish there were somewhere I could watch Sanditon, stream Sanditon, because I would love to. There's 3 seasons out now, but I've only seen the first. And I really, really enjoyed that adoption. I think it was really, really good. Very much in the spirit of Jane Austen, I think. I have a feeling, anyway. So, yeah. So that's that. I know for Persuasion there has been a Netflix adaptation, which I haven't seen yet. There's quite the controversy around it. Oh, hi Sally, good to see you're still here. Good that I'm not speaking into the void. It kind of feels like speaking into the void when I'm just chatting about. But anyway, so the Persuasion, I haven't seen it, but I know there was quite a bit of controversy around it, because it didn't really stay true to the book at all. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it though, so I'm planning to see it just because it's Jane Austen and an adaptation. So I am planning on watching it. I think the newest Jane Austen adaptation I've seen, except for the Sanditon, was Emma. The Emma that came out in 2020, or was it 2019? I actually was planning on going to the cinema. I had a friend of mine and I had planned on watching Emma in the cinema, and that was in 2020, early 2020, and that didn't happen because the world stopped. So I didn't get to see it until it was out on Blu-ray, and then I watched it and I really enjoyed it. I think it was a really good adaptation of Emma, and the costumes are also really good. So Sally will need to go to the shops to get food, cat litter, etc. Yes, those are essentials. That's understandable. It's very much understandable. Sanditon was the first of Jane Austen you read, Sally. Oh, that's interesting. How was it to read it when it was kind of unfinished and not knowing any other works? Did it put you off Jane Austen, or did you continue reading her? Because I think Sanditon is the only novel. It's not finished, so, but it's the only one I haven't read more than once. So I'm planning on reading that. Again, as well, I reread, but I don't know when I will do it. And there's so many books to read. See, that's the problem. The everlasting problem of a book dragon. There's so many books and just X amount of time. That's kind of it's like a mixed feeling for me. The You're definitely here. Yes, I can see you, Sally. Yes. Oh, yes. That must have been a reply to the speaking into the void. I think you see. I think there's like a delay. I see the chat and then answer to it, and then it takes quite a while before you can see what I'm saying. Anyway. So yes, I was talking about something. Brain fart. As you do. Emma Newman. No, that's something. Oh, bookworm. Yeah. I was going to say that it's kind of a mixed feeling about like you only live so long. You don't know how long you live, so you know that you're not likely to read all the books you want to read, ever, in your life. But then again, you'll never run out of books to read. So it's like a mixed feeling. I'm glad I will never like run out of reading, but at the same time, I feel kind of sad that I will not be able to read everything. So there's that. So, yeah. How are you feeling today? I am feeling still quite tired. I think it's because I didn't sleep well I don't sleep well in hotels, I think. So I didn't sleep that well in Glasgow. I didn't sleep well before that, and at Norcon in Oslo. And then the last couple of nights, my arm has been so sore, so I haven't really slept well then either. So I had one night this week where I slept like a log, and that was after coming back from Glasgow and from Tuesday to Wednesday, and then I slept for 9 hours. I was so tired. Sally says, a friend who plays harp has played for Regency balls in Bath. Oh, that's lovely. That sounds like such a fun thing to do, like go to a Regency ball. Though I would need a Regency dress. I have friends who have made themselves Regency dresses, and I am envious. Oh, so Sanditon left you wanting more. Yeah. You kind of want to know how the story ends, first of all. But then again, there's more Jane Austen works out there, so you could at least indulge in that. I kind of want to reread Sense and Sensibility again as well. I haven't read Sense and Sensibility in a long time. I think mostly I reread Emma, and then I reread... when did I reread Emma? I don't remember. No, 2019 maybe. Gosh, memory is not my friend. And then I reread Pride and Prejudice last year, was it? I think it was last year. And then I'm currently rereading Persuasion. So I kind of feel like rereading Sense and Sensibility. Yeah, no, that it's so frustrating that I can't read everything. Yeah, it is. But it is what it is. You just have to live with it. So, yeah, I would love to have a Regency dress. I would love to go to a Regency ball. I think my biggest problem with a Regency ball, though, would be there's lots of people. We are actually having a work party at work. I still haven't been to one. And they managed to schedule the work party at work for the same day as Pride is here. And I was just like, it's the same day as Pride, and then some people went, oh, but you can go like in the parade first, and then you can go to the party afterwards. And I'm like, you're going in a parade. You're going to go in a parade. There's going to be lots of people. If I'm going to do anything after that, it'll be Pride related, not a work party. I'm sorry. No, it's not happening. Most likely after the Pride Parade, I am probably going to go home because I'll be exhausted and I would need to recharge. And I also, the day before, going to a workshop, a yoga workshop after work. So I'll just chill. Sally says, we'll see if I can find pictures. That there are definitely some in public domain. Yeah. Yes. Oh, Regency dresses are so pretty. Well, they can be really pretty. And I would love to have one. But yeah. Maybe it could be like a project at some point, like once I've got everything else in order. I got quite a few projects already that I need to take care of. So I will need to do those projects, and then maybe at some point in time I could see if I can find a pattern and make one, but I haven't been sewing in years and years. I think my last project was in 2007. I started a dress and then it went horribly wrong, and I just like gave up on it, and which is a pity because it was like a lot of nice fabric. That being said, I might actually go back and have a look at it. I thought I did something very, very strange, but I think it's just the pattern, really. So yeah. Oh, I am getting really tired. What time is it? It is, here it's 10 to 4. Okay. Yes. I am actually wondering. I'm wondering if you should just like not do another sprint, actually. Because I know it is Mike Parker, the harpist. I mean, he wrote a tune called Miss Lucas Ohoko, who is me. Oh, that's so sweet, isn't it? Oh, that's really sweet. It's such a gift when someone writes a song for you. And I have a friend, and he wrote a song to me because he told me that I kind of inspired him to start making music again. So he made me a song. It was a wonderful song. It was a friend, mind you. Oh, hello there, Courtney. How are you? You're about to get busy. Oh, I wanted to drop in and say hello. Hello. I'm actually ending this stream soon, I think, because I'm getting quite tired, and I did a lot of streaming yesterday. I did a lot of gaming, and I think I might be doing some gaming today as well later on. So I'm not going to do a very long stream, and but it's good to see you. So what are you currently reading? Are you reading anything fun? Maybe you're already gone. it's this delay that I kind of just don't know whether people are around it or anything. It's like I don't know how much delay is. I'm going to actually need to. I need to see if there's a way for me to have a shorter delay, because it's a bit frustrating when I'm talking and then there's a reply and then I've kind of moved on, which is sad. It would be good if I could just like see it immediately, you know? I will actually have to look into that at some point. So, yeah, because I don't want to talk into the void, as I was talking about earlier. So yes, I think I'm streaming until 4 o'clock or something, and then I'm ending this. I know I said I would have another sprint, but I don't think I can do that, to be honest with you. I can feel that my I have allergies and they kind of affect my voice. I should probably have had a drink as well. I already had drinks the 2 last sessions, but I'm going to run to the loo all the time if I drink so much tea. It's like, it's kind of hydrating and dehydrating at the same time. I do love my tea though. So I feel guilty that I need to go shopping. No, don't feel guilty, Sally. It's valid. It's totally valid. And you've been here for the last couple of hours, and now I'm thinking about ending anyway, because mainly because I am I'm tired, and I've been talking, and I'm going to talk more later today. So I think it would be good for me to just sit and read and drink tea or something. Yes, it's really lovely that when a friend does that. It is, isn't it? And I think some people might think that there might be like something more between you when someone writes you a song, but it doesn't need to be, you know. Sometimes you're just friends. I usually say that when it comes to being a pansexual, panromantic person. It's like, if I couldn't do friendship with all genders, then I'll have a big problems. If it should be like something more than just friendship, that's why it's like, no, it doesn't work. Hello, Riverman. How are you? You're back. And you are actually catching the tail of this stream now, because I thought I would do this longer today, but I don't have the energy. So did you get all your shopping and stuff done? Did everything go as planned, or did it go miserably wrong? How did things go? I hope you managed to do what you set out to do. Please bear in mind that I type very slowly. That's fine, Sally. It's all good. Rima says, I write songs on the spot for anything. Sang one for a roadside to get. Yeah, you almost sound like me. I usually say there's a song for everything, and life is a musical, right? I like singing, and it's like, even when I game. If you've seen when I am planning on doing Civ playing later today. Civilization 6, which is a very different game from Baldur's Gate that I've done previously. It's a turn-based, so it's almost like a board game. It looks closer to a board game. It's not like as intricate. And when I did that yesterday, I started like singing and stuff. So it's like saying like, yes, life is a musical. Remember City, I got it done, and my mom's no. That's good. That's good. Glad you get everything done. Uh, so yeah. So I order. Don't know if you know if caught this. Well, you probably can see the chat that Sally is about to leave. As I said right before you came on, I am streaming until 4 o'clock. It's 2 more minutes and then I'm going to end this stream because I'm tired and I need to relax for a bit as well. I don't know, I'm supposed to be on holidays and I haven't really relaxed all that much. Especially didn't relax when I was in the UK, when I was in Scotland. That was super busy and super intense and so much people. So being at home for the last couple of days has been really good because I'm all peopled out, as my partner says. All peopled out. So on Wednesday I went to have a vaccine and then I had to interact with strangers, of course, and then I had a coffee with my friend, but that's one-on-one, so that's not as draining as being like around loads of people at the same time. So it's Friday today. I do have plans for the weekend. Tomorrow I have I'm planning on doing some cooking. Anyway, I'm Ace, says Alice. Alice? Where did that come from? Sally. That's also perfectly fine and valid. And I read a book, a non-fiction book actually, early this year. I think it was my first read of 2024 or maybe my second, a whole book on being ace. It was very interesting, and I actually, it gives you like, I think it gives you validation regardless whether you're ace or not, but ace is definitely something someone are. And I think it's super fair and super valid, and I totally understand it. And I have other friends who are ace as well. I think my favorite book with an ace character so far has been Loveless by Alice Oseman. It's a really beautiful story. There's also a pan character in that book. So, totally valid. So yes, so there's a room for everybody. Everything is valid. The only one who can decide how you identify are yourself, is what someone said at some point, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. Nobody can tell you who you are, how to define, whether your sexuality or lack of thereof is valid or not. Everything is valid. You might be demisexual, that's also fair. I'm not saying you, but like in general, like people might be. But yeah, the book on ace was super good, and I'm glad. I also have another book on my shelf sitting waiting for me, with ace character. There's a lot, and I read a lot of fantasy and science fiction, and I find those books as well as books for young adult books, they tend to be better at portraying things. I don't know if you know the TV series or Netflix series Heartstopper, but there's a character that is ace, and I have a feeling that is going to play out in the next season really well. Alice Oseman, who is the writer both of the Heartstopper books as well as she's very like involved in the TV and the Netflix series. She herself is ace, so she's So it's kind of Loveless in itself is actually own voices, so that's a good. Okay, so that I just it's not so, it's just so. Yes, there's that. Anyway, it is now past 4 o'clock. The comments about people making assumptions. Yeah. Yeah. People are people. You know. Anyway, it is past 4 o'clock now. So I will first and foremost thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a pleasure to have you here. I've had fun. I managed to read quite a bit. Some chapters. I'm probably going to sit down. I'm going to make myself another cup of tea, and I'm going to sit down with my book outside, I think. I think it's no shadow on my balcony, so I am able to sit outside and read without sunglasses. So I just have like a straw hat and my reading glasses and my book and a cup of tea. I think that would be very nice and a very good way to do things. And then later on, we are reheating chili from yesterday, so we'll have tacos for dinner. And then I'll do my Civ stream, which is more like a tabletop, but online, or not online, but on computer. It's more like turn-based anyhow. So very different from Baldur's Gate 3 that I've streamed previously. And yes, so there's that. And on Sunday I'm going to Oslo and meet up with an online friend from the US. I'm very excited to meet her. And how I met them it's actually a bit of a funny story. I read a book and I absolutely fell in love with it, and then I made a review on my YouTube channel, and I also talked about it on Instagram, and the author read and saw and was so touched and so happy. And because I'm Norwegian, I'm Norwegian, and it's like Norwegian Viking stuff. And then we kind of stayed in touch and got to know each other. So I'm very, very excited to meet up. Anyway, I am rambling, and I am going to end it here. And as I said, thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to join me tonight for the Civilization stream. I know, Riverman, I know you're not that keen on the Baldur's Gate stream. I can't remember the details of it, or maybe you didn't elaborate to exactly why. But this is a very, very different kind of game. I actually did stream some Civ yesterday. I'm going to start a fresh game today because yesterday's game didn't go well at all. So I'm going to start a fresh game today. And hopefully I will not be attacked as immediately by 2 other countries like I did yesterday. So yes, it's been lovely, says Sally. I'm so happy that you were here and you could make it, and I will probably be doing another reading sprint at some point in time. Don't know exactly once. Motion sick. Yeah, as I said, the Civilization game that I'm playing is very, very different. So you don't run around like you do in Baldur's Gate. I can understand the motion sickness because I can get motion sick by watching other players play as well. But the Civ is very, very different. It's like not a lot of motion. So just saying that, just so you know. If you want to, there is a stream from yesterday with Civilization that I did, and you could have a look at that and see if it's something you could care for. If not, that's fine. I'll catch you on the Discord anyway. And yeah, that is it for now. And it has been a lovely time. And I'll see you later. Bye!